Are you struggling with classroom management? Are the darlings all over the place and you can't teach because they won't be still? Well, stay with me. I've got the answer to your problems in nuts and bolts and serious down-to-earth solutions to your classroom management problems. Hi, this is Patricia Clarkson with another good book for you to read. Classroom Management Simplified. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. Today we're going to talk about procedures for teachers and students. And there are 25 suggestions in the book, but we're going to look at some of the first ones. So stay with me and let's get busy. The first procedure they talk about is tracking tardies. You know, we have, especially in the secondary where they're changing classes, we have them always meandering in late, and then they want to tell you 100 reasons why they're late. Well, this book talks about procedures that you can set in place to get the kids to get to class on time and get focused. It also talks about not making a big deal over tardies. It gives you the nuts and bolts on how to set up your procedures. Now, every campus has tardy policies that you need to go over with your class. So every student in your class needs to know the policies, the district, the campus policies on tardies. But you also have procedures in your classroom that help the students come in and know what you expect. It talks about how to teach the policies. It talks about how to practice them with the students. And it also talks about how to implement them. And it goes into detail as to things you can do. Now, one of the things they talk about is putting a chart up in your room. You know, at the secondary level, that might be a bit much, but it might not be. It might work for you. I would love for you to read it, talk to some of your colleagues about it, see what they're doing. Try it out. It might work for you. Another procedure that it talks about is how do the kids come into the room? It talks about teaching them how to come into the room. What are your expectations? I found that you've got to really think about what you want and how you want them to enter your room, because it does set the tone. And this talks about the importance of setting that tone. It talks about how you can tell what a class is like and what the students expect to learn in class by the way they enter the room. So think carefully. I challenge you to, before you put these policies into practice, if it's already in the middle of the school year, look at how your darlings are coming in and see, is this how they're actually interacting the whole period, or is this an anomaly? So you might want to think about that. Procedure number 3 talks about having that bell ringer, or that warm-up, or that refocusing, that beginning of the period. It talks about what a bell ringer or a warm-up or whatever you want to call it, whatever makes you happy, what it does, what it should be, and what it shouldn't be. And I'm going to put on my glasses because I got to read this part. So on page 63, it says, even more important to note what is bell work and what is not. It is not simply meaningless, busy work. So a bell ringer is not just, okay, let me keep them quiet while I'm going. It's a time for you to get them focused on what you're going to teach for that day and get their little minds churning in that pathway. Or it's a time to look at, reviewing what they should already know to keep their minds spiraled in. I often ask teachers, okay, you've already taught that, how are you going to spiral it in? Sometimes a bell warmer is a nice way to spiral it in. Sometimes a bell warmer is just a nice way to get them focused in their little neurological pathways, fired and ready to learn. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. Procedure number 4 talks about how to take attendance or how to take roll. And I'm not even going to go into that a whole lot. Read the book. Most of us know how to take roll. But it shouldn't be taking up a lot of your time. You shouldn't be sitting there, Sally Sue, check. Mary Jane, check. Billy Bob, check. Frank, check. Oh, you're killing time there. So you need to find a meaningful, quick systematic way of taking attendance so that you're not having dead time in that little time. Because think about it. Every minute you lose is a minute of valuable instruction that the darlings could have had. And you could have gotten them miles ahead academically. Procedure number 5 always makes me smile. How do you want them to sharpen the pencil? You know, I always thought, really, how do you want them to sharpen the pencil? Sharpen the pencil, dude. I mean, how hard is that? Take your little happy self over there, put it in there, sharpen the pencil. Yeah, no más. But you'll be surprised. In the middle of instruction, there's that one darling that gets like, and you're like, really, right now? Right now, you got to make all that noise with the electric sharpener. And you got to break the lead a couple of times and keep trying until your pencil started big and now it's this big and you're still at the sharpener. You just made a bunch of sawdust. So there are procedures you might want to tell them. If pencil sharpening is an issue for you, then you might want to tell them, this is how I want you to sharpen your pencil. This is when, this is how, this is when you can't, this is when you can't. And on another note, a pencil is not a hill to die on. When little Billy Bob, Sally Sue, Mary Jane, when they don't bring a pencil to class, that is not the time to say, oh my God, how many times I have to tell you not to bring your supplies to class, and you think that you would bring your supplies. I don't have time to be buying supplies. You want to know? Please, people, please. Either ask the parents to bring an extra pack of pencils. You keep them in your desk. You can put little flowers at the top of your pencils if you want them back. If they're made of gold, you can I don't know. You can have whatever, but don't make a pencil a hill to die on. It's a pencil, people. Procedure number 6 is using classroom supplies. Do you have pencils, markers, scissors? What do you have in the room that the kids can use? Their books that are kept on a shelf. How much dead time are they going to have getting that stuff? And what are your policies? It talks about looking at those, talking about them. Again, I want to iterate. You might not put all 25 of these policies into practice. You might not even mention some of these 25. But I do want you to talk about them, to think about them, and say, is this one that I really need right now? And is it something that I got to go into great detail on? Or, you know, you may find that you don't even have to do that with your students. And you may find that you got to tell your students every single little thing. And maybe you don't. But it's nice to be able to think about it and reflect on it. One of the procedures talks about how to get kids' attention. 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. Could be one. Could be one. Standing there. Could be one because raising the hand. Could be one. There's a lot of little things that you can do to get the kids' attention. But what is going to be your call to attention? And that's what you teach your students. When I do this, this is what I'm looking for. You know, I taught high school, so mine was always, okay, peoples, okay. And then I just stopped talking. And then they all know, okay, it's time for me to listen to her. Okay? I mean, is that unconventional? Yes, but you know, I'm an unconventional kind of chick. And procedure number 9, and the last one for this video, getting the teacher's attention. How do you want them to call for you if they need help? And there are a lot of cool ways, but they want you to think about this, and they give you some suggestions, and you can practice them. But whatever you do, if that's your procedure and someone follows it, you need to go to them. You can't just leave their hand there till all the blood rushes from their fingertips and their hand is turning blue and they're about frozen in that position because you didn't even look around to see that little Sally Sue. You can't have the cup up there for 6 hours, 3 days. Not quite, that's a gross exaggeration. But you can't have the cup up there for a long time, and you don't, because then the kids aren't going to believe that you're going to look at them. And then they're going to start to miss. You know, when I was in the South, I'd say, excuse me, ma'am. And ma'am was a polite term. Well, on the border, sometimes if I'm on the border of Mexico and the United States, right there, you know, I'm on the American side of the border, but still on the border. A lot of times the kids will call you Miss or Sir or Mister. They don't mean that rude. It's not like they don't know your name. That is showing respect. So you can't, don't be disrespectful. Say my name. I have a name. Say my name. What do you think this is? Say my name. Say my name. You're acting kind of shady. What is this? I mean, they could be calling you something besides Miss, so I'm kind of glad that it was just Miss. Just turn around and say yes. And if you really want them to say your name, then when you answer them, say, remember, I like to be called Miss So-and-so. So try to remember that, sweetheart. And move on. You don't have to, you know my name, say my name. Well, I mean, calmate. This is a great book to do a book study with when you have a struggling teacher who's struggling with classroom management. It is my go-to book. Yes, I have other books that I use that I've referenced for classroom management, but if I'm going to get a book to give to a teacher and say, let's read this together and talk about it, this is 153 pages, quick, easy read, nuts and bolts, it tells you how to teach it, how to implement it, how to practice it, what to do, what not to do. It works. But when you want a teacher to get it done quickly, let's go here. This is Patricia Clarkson, encouraging you to enjoy the journey of teaching. It is an amazing profession. You are an amazing teacher. The kids are worth it. They're little darlings. Have fun with them because the kids are fun. God bless. May you have a prosperous, successful, amazing year. Patricia Clarkson, encouraging you. Enjoy the journey.